Hey now, it's your girl, Patria Brumfield, your host and personal empowerment coach, gracing the airways with boldness, honey. I'm excited to be sharing my little corner of the world with you and humbled to be sharing my voice in your personal spaces. Listen, I hope today's content will provoke, prompt, and inspire you to embrace all things boldly, purposefully, and unapologetically. Well, let's get into it, shall we? Lean in. Let's go up.
Out of the darkness. Yeah. Out of the ashes. Yeah. Be bold, beautiful, optimistic. Be bold, limitless, determined. Be bold.
Hey, boldies. We are live, all the way live. Yeah, all the way live. Welcome to All Things Bold Podcast. I am your host, Patria Brumfield, and I hope that your day is off to an amazing start. I hope that you woke up with some act right, okay? And that you're ready to take the day by storm boldly. Why? Because, child, you are the prize. You are the blessing. And people are waiting for what's on the inside of you, and they're waiting for you to show up. So if you're feeling a little wonky, I need you to shake yourself and command yourself to get it together, okay? Because we're going up, right? Up. Unstoppable progression. And always remember that there's someone somewhere wishing that they could be in your position. And I know you may be saying, child, Patria, you don't understand my plight. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. I'm not in the mood. I'm feeling some kind of way. I woke up feeling some kind of way. And I just can't get it together. It seems like I can't shake myself. I have all these disappointments. I'm not where I want to be in life. I thought I would be accomplishing X, Y, and Z and still have not. And I thought I would be married by this time or whatever, and so forth and so on. All of this stuff. And I get it. Trust me. You have no idea. Trust me. I get it. But I have to tell you, sis. Gotta get it together. You got to get it together. And you may be feeling away. And I get it. I'm just going to pause right there. And I understand you may not be where you want to be. I understand you might not be married right now and your time clock is ticking and you want to have a baby. Or whatever the case may be, but I'm here to tell you that you got to keep pushing, you got to keep moving, you got to keep showing up, you got to keep believing, you got to keep shaking yourself loose. You got to shake yourself loose because you are stronger than what you know. You are more resilient than you can ever imagine. You were created and purposed to handle what comes your way. How do I know this? Because, girl, listen, you were created in the image and after the likeness of our Heavenly Father. That's why. And He does not fail. He wins every time. So, yeah, I thought I might just put that in your hearing for today. So get it together, sis. Show up, okay? And so this is the perfect segue into our Thursday moment. Today is Emotional Healthy Day. And our second episode of this faith-based podcast. And y'all, I had to face some stuff myself with this here content of mine. Y'all, after reading and rereading some of my old notes and going through some old things and old studies, I had to have a moment. Like, I had some new aha moments, and I realized that I had some more work to do with my own little emotions, I had to do some soul searching myself, some root work myself. Okay. So listen, I'm not here just to give my thoughts without walking it out myself. No, we're in this together, boo. We're going to blossom and bloom together. Okay. Like I said on the last podcast, I don't know everything and it's okay. And you don't know everything and it's okay. And so seeing it from different perspectives, it's cool. It's okay. So here's my disclaimer because, I don't need no smoke. I don't want no smoke, but I can handle it if you bring it to me. Okay. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a licensed counselor or therapist. However, I am a certified coach that is an expert in my own personal experiences, processes, and journey and studies of all things Patria. Okay. Okay. So, with that being said, your girl is just here sharing my personal thoughts, insight, revelations, honest opinions, and my own experiences on the subject matter. Okay. Whew. Okay, so now that I got that out the way, let's keep on moving forward. Let's keep on going, right? Before we lean in, let me do this because let me tell y'all, my husband got me all the way together on last week. And so if you want to know anything about Patria is very transparent and I own my stuff. Okay. So last week, let me tell y'all, before launching, I asked my little husband if he would like to take first dibs, on listening dibs for the podcast. And he says, of course. And he did. But listen, I wasn't ready to be snatched up the way that he snatched me up. Homeboy got me all the way together. Hubs came back and was like, listen, I listened to your podcast as if I didn't know you, and everything was really good. But there were a few things, and I'm like, okay, cool. Boom. Homeboy said, so I listened, and again, it was good, but I listened as if I didn't know you, and I don't know who Patria is, right? Because you didn't say anything about you. I don't know what you do. I don't know who you are. And I was like, whoa, wow. Okay, dang. He got me all the way together. And so my thoughts, were like, well, I have my bio out there, this, that, and other. And he was like, well, what if nobody reads your bio? I was like, yeah, you're right. I got it. I got it, dude. Thank you. Thank you for snatching my edges and sending me on my way. But nah, really, thank you. And so I was like, well, okay. And then he hit me with this, y'all. Some jargon that you use, new people who don't know you may not understand you. Because they don't know you. They don't know that you have these little sayings. And I do have sayings. And so I was looking at him like, what you talking about, Otis? Like, what did I say? Right? And he said, for instance, shingles. And all I could do was crack up laughing, y'all. Okay, so here's the deal. So as women, we like to enhance our natural, beautiful selves, by little aesthetics and make a little adjustments, right? And so my shingles are my wavy, bouncy hair pieces that I get added on when I no longer want to deal with my own hair, right? You got that? Y'all caught that? And so they jingle and they shingle and they bounce and they jiggle. And so I call them shingles. And so people who know, they know that I'm talking about my little shangle pieces. But of course, because some of y'all may not know me like that, but I'm just going to put this disclaimer out there. Another disclaimer. Yep. I make up words. I have little phrases and sayings. Um, and I have an acquired vernacular, you know. So child, you'll see. Just keep rolling with me. We're just getting our feet warm. I'm not gonna scare y'all off. But anywho, so here's a little bit about me since my husband said he didn't know me and that new listeners wouldn't know me. So I'm just gonna put it in a nutshell. I am a wife for 20 years. I am a mother of two, and I have three bonus daughters. I am a grandmother, aka Nani, of four beautiful babies, two boys, two girls. I am a college graduate. I have my BA in disciplinary studies with the concentration of psychology and business. So your girl has some education, okay? I am a certified empowerment and personal development coach. I'm an ordained minister. I'm an author, speaker, singer, songwriter, mentor, conference host, and a purpose pusher. So those are some of the roles that I take on. And what I do, I serve women by offering hope and encouragement to those who feel like they've run out of options and chances because of some poor decisions they have made along their life's journey. And I do this by way of coaching and mentoring. Um, I empower women to be the best God version of themselves by embracing their stories, their lessons, their processes, and their journey, and doing it boldly, authentically, and unapologetically. But out of all of this stuff, y'all, I love God. I love Jesus. I love the Holy Spirit. They are all my why to why I do and what I do for the kingdom of God. Um, I love people the way I love them because I know what it's like to be loved by a God that is so amazing. And so that's me in a nutshell. Okay. If you want to know more about me in depth, feel free to go to my website at www.beboldempowerment.com and you can get all the stuff. You can go there and find out what I do. You can look at my products and all that good old stuff. Have at it. That is me in a nutshell. And I guess I have to say it every time. I don't think so. I'll just say this is me, even in a more or a very, very short. I introduce it, but in short, that's what I do. I like to empower people. Okay. And so now let's get into this here content. Lean in and let's go up. So, as I mentioned, today is Emotionally Healthy Thursday. Yay, yay, yay. This segment or episode is going to be very informative, and I'm going to try to make it really light because the topic of emotions are very broad and complex, and I don't want to bore you, even though it is an interesting topic to me. It may not be for you, but we're going to kick off the episode 2 with today's quote. And it is, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And that quote is from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So let's unpack the gift of forgiveness by exploring it from a stance of being emotionally healthy. Lean in. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So in episode 1, I stated that we will have these moments, these emotional, healthy moments where the bold woman can be not even be, but to maintain or come here to glean and be given tools, right, to maintain emotional capacity and to increase emotional intelligence. But in order to do that, we must understand what emotional capacity is, right? And what emotional intelligence is. And some of y'all may already know this stuff, but I can't assume. So I'm going to do my due diligence, huh? Yes, indeed. So what is emotional capacity? Emotional capacity is the measurement of our ability to overcome our limiting beliefs, the measurement of our adaptability to challenges and different circumstances that come up in our lives, and it is the measurement of the quality of our relationships. If there's no depth to our emotional capacity, we will fall short of hitting the target in these areas of our lives that I mentioned, in our belief system, in our relational capacity, in our adaptability to life and its changes and its challenges, right? Capacity is just that. It's the measurement of the depth in which we are able to ascertain or to sustain or maintain or carry carrying those things, right? And so that's just that. Emotional capacity is just the measurement in which we are able to what's the word I'm trying to navigate emotionally. It reveals where we are in our beliefs, in our relationships. It's that thing that can either we tip over because it's too heavy for us and we respond, or we lack it, or we're in need, we're at a deficit. So capacity is just measurement. Okay. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage our own emotions while understanding the emotion of those around us. Is emotional or I keep saying emotional. I guess I just want to say that. But emotional intelligence embodies some key elements, right? You see self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and our social skills. So self-awareness is recognizing or having the recognition of our conscious state, which our conscious mind, and we'll talk a little bit about that a little later, but our conscious is what's happening right now. We are aware of it right now, what's going on around us right now. So self-awareness is just the recognition of our consciousness, right? Self-regulation is the ability to manage our emotions effectively and preventing them from not controlling us. Right? We're in control of them. So it involves the increase of positive emotions, positive thinking, and subtracting negative emotions and negative thinking. It's basically taking ownership, which y'all know I love that because I likes to own my stuff. Okay. I likes to own it. And then, of course, the motivation piece or the motivational element to it is the reason or reasons for acting the way that we do. The way that we behave in a particular way. This is what motivation is. It's, why we do what we do, in short. And then the empathy piece. Empathy is just having the ability to understand or share in the feelings of another person. Okay. And of course, social skills is having competence of facilitating and interacting and communicating with others. We've been doing that since kindergarten. Okay. Some of us have great social skills and some of us just don't. And it's okay. Okay. And these the emotional intelligence, those are the things that foster emotional perception, which is like acknowledging our emotions, like, and gaining insight and to our internal state. It is an awareness, like we said earlier on. It's just acknowledging them. I'm aware that this is making me feel like this, So it fosters emotional perception. It facilitates our thought processes. how we relate to those emotions that we're feeling, and it enhances our thinking abilities to govern decisions, right? So we ain't just out here doing all kinds of crazy stuff and that we have no business doing. Okay. And so, yeah, if we're going to be emotionally healthy, we are going to need to maintain our capacity and increase our emotional intelligence. And in that, we also have to understand that we're going to need emotional healing. If you have lived life, I've been on this earth for 39 years. And in those 39 years, I would like to say that I have um, some fine sheets of paper that has no wrinkle, because y'all know that's my thing. I have some wrinkles in my papers. Okay. I have life, and life has happened to me, and life be lifing. And so, yeah, I have some bumps and bruises by way of others and even by way of my own self. So emotional healing is needed because I do have some emotional wounds, you know. And so emotional healing is just simply the process of acknowledging, accepting, and integrating and processing painful life experiences and trauma, and strong emotions that comes with all of that stuff. Emotional healing involves the elements of empathy, as you know, like I said, with emotional intelligence, empathy, and self-regulation. But the other components of emotional healing is like self-compassion, self-acceptance, self-accountability, us being mindful, having mindfulness. And again, like with emotional intelligence, that integration, my goodness, piece of it comes into play. So if you're looking at self-compassion, it's simply what it is. It's the process of turning compassion inwardly. It's being kind to yourself. It's giving grace to yourself. It's being gentle to yourself. Like, leave yourself alone. Stop talking about yourself, huh? I've gone through a stage right now of I've been on steroids, so I'm a little fluffier than normal. Okay. And I was not compassionate with myself or my situation. And so we have to be compassionate if we're going to heal emotionally and be emotionally healthy. We have to have some self-compassion. It is self-acceptance. It's embracing your attributes, your positives and your negatives, your good, your bad, your ugly. Those parts of us. I know we don't want to talk about the ugly parts. We like the real good, wonderful, great, and amazing parts of us, but we be like, sis, we don't want the ratchet, we don't want the ugly, we don't want the annoying, right? Those little quirks and idiosyncrasies about us. We don't want to share that part, right? And so we have to embrace that if we're going to heal emotionally. Self accountability. Oh, accountability sometimes is very hard for some of us because we want to do what we want to do and how we want to do it. So it's basically taking responsibility of our own actions and our behaviors without excuses or blame shifting. So if we're going to heal, and I'm going to keep on saying this, we must, somebody need to just say, we must, we must, we must, we must, we must take accountability. We must do it. It is a must. It is not pass go. Do not no, it is one of the moments that you can't pass go, can't collect $200, or is it $100? I haven't played Monopoly in a long time. No blame shifting. Being mindful is the quality of focusing to achieve a mental state, right? Of a present moment while calmly acknowledging our feelings and governing our thoughts and controlling our body language and our facial expressions. And I'm going to put a pin right there because, baby, these here facial expressions that I have, now I might can control my body, huh? I might can even control my mouth. But my face, My face is just so disrespectful sometimes. It just do what it want to do. But if we are going to heal emotionally, yeah, we have to be mindful. So that means we have to control not only our feelings, not only our thoughts, not only our mouths, but our body and our facial expression, our body language and our facial expression. And then the integration part is wholeheartedly experiencing our emotions and allowing them to seamlessly weave through the fabrics of our understanding and absorbing our emotional experience. This enriches our identities and it fosters profound self-awareness. So I have an understanding that I don't like rejection. I don't like to be rejected. I mean, like, who does? But how I process that rejection, I have an understanding that if I know that this person is going to continue to reject me or to make me feel rejected, I don't expose myself to that. I have an understanding and I don't get mad about it anymore. I don't get mad about it anymore. I just govern myself accordingly. I don't put myself in those situations because I know that if I'm not healed in that area or in that relationship yet, that it will have me in a place. So integrating self-integration is being aware of those emotions and weaving it into your life experiences. So basically, in a nutshell, know thine own self. Okay. Be aware. So now I know that was a lot, but I want you to understand that this topic is just very broad. And I wanted y'all to kind of get why I'm saying what I'm saying so that when you're going through these, because emotions and feelings, they're not isolated situations. Okay. And y'all probably hear me say that again. So, if we're going to forgive and we couple the forgiveness piece with the emotional piece, it can seem like a lot, right? And so just a little recap of my definition of forgiveness. I feel like forgiveness is not a process. Okay. I feel like it's instantaneous. It happens immediately. I feel that or I believe that forgiveness is a direct, intentional, deliberate exchange that cannot be nullified or avoided. It's a decision that says, here, I am giving this gift to me. So I have no attachment. I will not be under lock and key, chain and ball to the pain, the anguish that you have caused. And I deliberately, intentionally decide to let you walk away. I exonerate you from those things because you can't afford it anyway. And I will be wasting my time trying to make you pay for something that you just don't have the capacity to do or to give. But it does not mean you walk scot-free. It does not mean that I've forgotten. It does not mean that you don't reap the consequences of that. It does not mean that we can reconcile this particular relationship depending on what it is. I check my motives and all of that great stuff. Make sure that I'm doing it from a right perspective. I'm not trying to gain leverage over you. You know, all of that stuff. I am choosing to forgive. And like I stated, y'all, forgiveness is not easy. I'm not saying that it's just an easy thing. I just don't believe forgiveness is a process. Healing, is a process. Deliverance is a process. Those are the things that you process through. In psychology, they talk about the process of forgiveness. I don't see it that way. Salvation is instant. God gives us his spirit and he don't even give us a little dab of do you. He gives it all to us. He gives us free access. Once we say yes and we ask him in, we are children. We are his children. We have access to everything. Okay. Yes, sometimes he be like, baby, you ain't ready for that. But when we get you together, have at it. Okay. Just as we do with our children. No, you ain't ready to drive at 5 years old. You might want to. You might imitate me real well, but you can't drive. You don't know the rules and regulations. Okay. So we're back at this here. So we must understand, and you may hear me say that every emotional healthy, because we interchange these two things so often that we merge them together. So feelings and emotions, even though we use them interchangeably, they are not the same thing. Okay. We have core emotions. We have secondary emotions. We have emotions that's arousal emotions. We have all these different emotions, right? And so I think this is a way for me to say it without getting anybody confused. But the purpose of our emotions, the purpose of why we have them, is to ensure our survival. And of course, there's several or various uh, reasons why we have emotions, but our emotions are essential to our functionality as human beings. We need them to properly communicate to other people and even to ourselves. Emotions are vital when it comes to bonding and building relationships or forming attachment or creating connections with other people, right? Their emotions are signals that are how do I want to say it? Yeah, emotions are signals from our brains, right? It's information that is stored up in our brains and they are processed through our subconscious mind. Whereas our feelings are interpreters of those things, right? And they are processed consciously, like right here in the here and now, right? And they communicate what our emotions are, right? Make sense? So emotions are signals and feelings are interpreters of those emotions. Hope that makes sense, right? Two different things, but they can work simultaneously. Like, for instance, fear. We may have the feeling of fear, the sense of fear, right? Like when we step into a dark room and we hear somebody in the room and we're trying to scurry to get the light so we can see what we're seeing. That's a fear. Like we feel the same feeling, right? But it's processed different. That fear is like, I'm in danger. Whereas we're getting on a roller coaster ride and we have the adrenaline pumping and we have the fear of, oh my gosh, I don't know what to expect, but it's processed different. Same feeling because we still scared, right? But it's processed differently. There's different information. This information says one thing, that somebody in here and something is about to hurt me, and I'm in a position of trying to protect myself. Whereas the other fear is saying, oh, I don't know what to expect. This is going to be fun, or, so boom. Sometimes it's just kind of, the processes are different. Okay. Okay. So when we understand how powerful our emotions is and why it's so important that we need to be healthy in this area, because our emotions impact our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health. And so if they're all over the place, listen, we're going to be a mess. Strong emotions can empower us can empower us and embolden us to take action, to do some things, right, that we normally won't do. We arise to the occasion. They motivate us to take on challenges and do hard things like forgive, come on with it. Like forgive. Emotions can also cause us to overcome obstacles by providing us pertinent information in any given moment. like I said about the fear thing, naturally that information comes like, hurry up or turn on this light. It sends us information that is needed right there, that's pertinent right there. And we need our emotions. We need them. Our emotions determine how we are to identify with our surroundings and the people that we surround ourselves with. And our emotions are powerful. It's just simply put, and they're so powerful and important that we need to manage them and properly put them in the right perspective, because without them we can't function. So if we have unhealthy emotions, y'all, we'll be out here running amok. And some of us, we know how to behave, right? But on the wrong day and hitting the wrong nerve, you may get a reaction that was not governed properly, because information that was processed of how this situation went or what was said, it processed it through an experience that we have not yet worked through. And so, yeah. So simply put, feelings are the conscious process. That's the here and the now of our emotional state. They are the words that we illustrate our emotions with, like angry, sad, and all those stuff. And emotions are the psychological response to thoughts and experience, whereas our feelings are the understanding of them. So this is why I feel this way. And sometimes our emotions, we need the words, we need the feelings to describe them, because sometimes we don't know. We may be saying we're mad, but really we're enraged, right? So it can go on and on and on and on. And so, simply put, feelings are our conscious process. Our conscious minds is that here and now, where we're actively thinking about right here and now. And emotions are the subconscious process of the information. The subconscious mind is what we've learned and what we stored up in our brain, the limbic system. And we can go into all of that stuff on another day, not today. Okay. So why is it important for us to recover emotionally, and to forgive? Or maybe I worded that wrong. Why is forgiveness important? Yeah, there we go. Why is forgiveness important to our emotional recovery from traumas, from offenses, from betrayals? And how do we get there? How do we get to this part? Because I know some people like, you just don't understand what happened to me, and da 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 da, and bye bye bye, and they get stuck. And I don't want to say they, I say we, and we can get stuck. Forgiveness is an essential component of being able to attain mental and relational, physical, and spiritual well-being. According to Dr. Terry Levi, forgiveness is essential to those key components. It means we have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive those who have caused us pain. I know, child. I know it ain't easy. I know you still want to be mad. I know you still want to validate your anger, validate your rage, validate those emotions. But feelings can get us in a lot of trouble. Feelings become our reality, even though it may not be a true reality. It becomes our true reality. And so we have to process through that and maintenance and maintain that. Okay. Forgiveness is making room for more positive thoughts and healthy perspectives. And emotional healing will take you both on a psychological journey, a spiritual journey, healing. And on any spectrum is a journey. because you go through the stages of being mad. You go through the stages of being remorseful. You go through the stages of um, um, curiosity, perplexity, right? You go through this whole journey, but forgiveness occurs only when um, we no longer are controlled by those negative emotions, where we want revenge, we want to see blood, we want to see them lose, right? We want to see the same thing happen to them but worse. All that stuff, it's until we relinquish our right to be right. It's only when we no longer want to be controlled by those negative emotions. And Dr. Levi, he says to overcome those negative emotions um, is through the 4-stage process. So this is how he's saying that, like in children and studies, how we're able to overcome or to process these negative thoughts. I don't want to say overcome, but to process them. But I believe through the blood of Jesus, we can overcome anything. Okay. But this is how he approaches them. Or this is what he outlines. And I think it's really good because I feel like it can be applicable to our lives. The first stage, or the first step, not stage, the fourth step of the first step is we have to experience and express the anger. Some people be like, yeah, that happened to me, and they kind of brush it off, not understanding that that thing changed you. You're no longer the same. And we can't just tuck what happened to us under a rock. Yeah, I'm angry about that. Um, I hate that that happened to me. I don't know why that happened to me. And understanding that these feelings need to be dealt with openly and honestly, and understand that only suppressing them causes us to remain angry consciously and unconsciously. It is operating in the background, and it will both prevent the grieving process and the forgiving process. And understand, grieving is not just when someone dies. We can grieve a relationship, right? The second step is to genuinely acknowledge and take time to grieve the loss that is part of the trauma experience. I lost that person because of this, right? I lost this relationship. I lost that confidence. I lost that time that I've invested and I spent. I feel this way, right? So, genuinely acknowledging that you're sad about losing that person or that thing, or upset with yourself about it. That's the second step, is genuinely acknowledging. The third is to come to terms with accepting the loss, accepting that it happened without, this is really, really good, without distorted perception of or unrealistic fantasies. Don't be twisting and turning that stuff to work in your favor or to fit your narrative. It is coming to terms like, this is where it's at. I lost this person. I lost this situation. And that's just what it is. It ain't distorted. It ain't murky. It ain't unrealistic, right? You ain't adding some fairy tale truths to it. It's just what it is. What is it? A clean cut. Okay. The fourth step is making the conscious decision to forgive and move towards the future with new personal resources, skills, meaning. Like, this is a new meaning. My freedom is a new meaning. I'm not trying to ruminate on what was. I ain't gonna talk about what happened in 1997. Okay. No, all things new. We giving it new meaning, new definition, new reference, and being open to positive relationships. Like, I don't want to surround myself with Debbie Downers. I don't want to surround myself with gossipers. I don't want to surround myself with people who don't want me, huh? and I'm trying to fight to be with them. No, I'm opening myself up to those who are open to me, and it's healthy. It's recipient what's the word? It's reciprocal, right? Um, it's give and take. It ain't no give, and or no take, right? It's reciprocated. That's the word I said reciprocal. But it's reciprocated, okay? It's mutual. So those are the 4 steps. Expressing the anger, step 1. Genuinely acknowledging and taking time to grieve the loss. That's step 2. Step 3, come to terms to accept that loss without distorted perception or unrealistic fantasies. 4, making the conscious decision to forgive and move forward. Okay. And if we're going to become aware, and heal, we have to be aware of those negative feelings and express them openly. We have to be like, listen, this is how I feel today. It took me a long, long time to get to this point. And I couldn't articulate my feelings. Emotions sometimes we can't describe them. That's why someone who's depressed, they may not have the language or to express what they're feeling, because it's just a variety of feelings and thoughts and decisions. But we have to come to this point, which is the self-integration piece of it, acknowledging this is where we at and trying to find some understanding of what's going on with me. Okay, let's put some word. Now there's on Google, there's a feelings wheel, right? So that you can understand the different feelings. Like, no, I may not be feeling this way, but I'm feeling this way. And it's created to help us give language to what we may be feeling on the inside. And so it's important to Google that. It's called the feelings wheel. You even have the biblical feelings wheel. So you can go out there and grab that on Google. It's really good, very, very helpful, especially for those who have a hard time articulating your thoughts or your feelings about different things that have been done to you, or just the way you feel in particular. Okay. And so we have to be open and honest about where we are, what we need, and can we please, pretty please, let's normalize what we really want in our relationships, whether it's a platonic relationship, a relationship in business, a relationship in ministry, relationship with mother, father, sister, brother, friends, that we express what we really want, and that we don't be like, okay, it's one and done, because we are human individuals. We forget. We have a lot of things going on, and we too are processing on this end, right? And so you may have to say what you need more than one time. And maybe we have to remember, or to even learn how we're asking people. Because sometimes the way that we may ask people how we want something, it can push people away. How I know that, child? Child, let me tell you how I know that. Because I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. This is for real. I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I've done it. And I've expressed, like, this is what I need. In the way in which I said it, it sounds so controlling. And it was like, child, bye. I'm not going to, no, you ain't going to, no. So we have to get to that point where we learn how to ask, and we keep asking. And maybe if that person show up one way, they may not know that you're showing up in a way, right? And so or in a way that's not pleasing, or in a way that is offensive, or in a way that seems controlling. And if they don't do it the same exact way, be understanding and empathetic. Like, okay, I'm showing up, but give me grace to show up that way. Give me time, just like you would want others to give you time. Okay. So that's how we heal emotionally. We need to normalize saying what we want and stop playing these little games of, I'm going to put it out there, and if you don't do it, I'm going to be mad at you, or I'm going to stop talking to you. All that stuff, that, no, we whole grown women, okay? We boldies over here in these streets. We are grown, huh? And we're going to show up grown. We're going to show up healthy. We're going to show up bold. We're going to show up classy. We're going to show up authentic. And that don't mean perfect. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're going to be self-aware. We're going to, and I say we're going to show up for ourselves in the right way. Why? Because we are a blessing. We are the prize. We are the ones that shine in the midst of darkness, or we should be, huh? We should be. And so forgiveness doesn't mean that we condone the behavior of those who did all this stuff to us, who made us want to act a fool, because nobody can make you act a fool, huh? We can choose to act a fool, but we don't condone the behavior. Us forgiving and us trying to heal emotionally, we don't condone the behavior, and we don't forget the behavior that was done to us. We're just choosing. We're choosing to vindicate. We're choosing to exonerate. We're choosing that, right? We're choosing to give that as a gift. And in return, we give the gift of freedom to ourselves, right? Forgiveness can only happen if the trauma that is experienced, or the offense or the betrayal, is fully processed. Like, I processed through it. I have an understanding of what happened. I acknowledge that, and I accept that it has happened. And each individual processes their healing, their situation, their experiences differently. And so you may be saying, oh, that person need to hurry up, and they need to hurry up and forgive and move on. Everybody goes through their own stages, right? So we don't push people. So please don't be like, oh, y'all need to listen to this gift of forgiveness because y'all need to hear. Boop, it's for you too, baby. Okay. we all have our processes. And so we don't push people to hurry up and forgive. If they want to stay there, let them stay there. If they're processing through it, let them process through it, because it's not going to help. It's going to make the matters worse. So do not push people who aren't ready to forgive. Don't pressure them. It can only happen once that trauma or that experience that took place is fully processed, it's understood, and they have accepted it, and they are willing to move on from it. They're willing to let go of the grudges and no longer are bitter. Okay. And the benefits of forgiveness, like I said, it's spiritual and physical and mental well-being. According to Mayo Clinic, forgiveness leads to all those stuff that I just said: physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And the benefits that comes from forgiveness is healthier relationship, improved mental health. There's less anxiety and stress and hostility. We talked about that on the last episode. Fewer depression symptoms. We said that. Stronger immune system. So you're stronger physically in your physical body. It improves heart health, because there is a study that shows unforgiveness. There was a study where people were suffering from chronic heart diseases from from not forgiving, holding on to stuff, because unforgiveness causes stressors. You're thinking about this stuff, you're ruminating over that stuff, and it can't change what has happened. And so it puts a lot of stress on your body that causes your heart to be sick, right? and it improves your self-esteem. So when you start forgiving people, you start feeling good about yourself. You start feeling like the bigger person. You start saying, girl, look at you. You start saying, look, I have grown. You start recognizing your growth. And so in return, you start feeling better about yourself. So blah, blah, couldn't get it out. When we are willing, there it is, go girl. When we are willing to release ourselves and let go of grudges and bitterness, we open up the pathway of healing and blessings of joy, and we begin to progress forward. And when we choose to ruminate on that stuff, I'm telling you, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know by experience. We will begin to rehearse that hurtful stuff in them moments, and we be mad as ever, firecracker mad, fire red engine, hot red mad. And the root of bitterness is reinforced. The root of bitterness begins to be strengthened and to go down deeper, which causes more resentment, right? And our refusal to hold on and to that stuff keeps us locked up emotionally. So our emotions are out of whack. The information that is sent to our brain is all that stuff, all that negative, all those untruths, all that distorted perception, all that unrealistic fantasy, all that stuff is just all up in our minds, which can cause us to break down mentally because it's all this stuff in our heads, right? That's not true. And it begins to become our reality because that's what the information we have stored up in our mind, right? And so after a while, the damaged emotions and behaviors become our norm. And then we trick ourselves into believing that the people around us have to adjust and succumb to our poor behavior and our poor treatment and our limiting beliefs, right? And I say to that, no way, no ma'am, no ham, no Sam, not today, not here, and not ever. I would never, ever want to go back to that place of being broken. No, no, absolutely no, not so. Ain't gonna happen. Individuals who forgive experience increased hope. They increase in their spiritual connection. It's improved. They increase in their confidence. All of that stuff. And we already talked about the health. It helps us feel good in our bodies, huh? Oh, yes, it does. Forgiveness is linked to stronger adult relationships. It helps us, for those who are married, it helps in your marriage because, honey, when you're married, you is married to that young man or that their woman. And you have to look at them. Can you imagine holding on to something and you married to somebody and you see them every day? You have to lay beside them. Unforgiveness will have you doing all kinds of stupid stuff. You'll be downstairs. You try to get far away from them, but you're married to them. It can strengthen and enhance our relationship with our children, because I know this is not a popular belief, but as parents, we are not always right. Okay. We are not always right. And we have to apologize to our children. We have to forgive our children in hopes that our children forgive us. But our children, they're children. No matter what age they are, until they come into a level of maturity and understanding, children are very selfish. They're not thinking about you. They only think about themselves. That's just how it was. You was the same way. When you was a teenager, you didn't care that your parents was trying to protect you. You want to go out with Bobby and Susie and Jacob them, huh? And go out and have fun and not think about the dangers. And you know, if you was a lot like me, I'll just speak for me, honey. I wanted to go out there with some little bitty shorts on and my belly showing and all that stuff. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. However, I didn't have the understanding of the attention that will draw at that particular age. And because my parents was a parent, my daddy raised me. My grandma assist in raising me. And honey, I wanted to do my own thing. But we learn to forgive over time as children. We be like, dang, daddy, I'm so sorry I didn't listen to you. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't listen, forgive me. And then it turns around like God, I'm about to pray. I was gonna say God, where we say, I forgive my father, I forgive my mother for not having the capacity to show up like I wanted to show up because I didn't know how to articulate how I wanted to show up. And then with my mom, my mom, unfortunately suffered from alcoholism. And so her sickness, she succumbed to that in 2011. And so she wasn't really there in my life. And so I was very, very angry, very, very wounded emotionally. Right. And so I didn't know how to express that, or to come to grips with that, because me being a mother now, I was like, how can you? How can you? But then I had to look back at my mom's history. And then I began to understand, and I was able to then empathize with her and understood that my mom just didn't have the capacity, and I forgave her. Easier said than done, but I went through that process of trying to understand and giving my mother a chance. And so before my mother left, she left this earth knowing that she was forgiven and that I didn't hold it over her head. Okay. That was a lot. But I hope that you get that. I hope that you understand what I'm saying. So people who are not able to forgive will remain hostile, unfortunately. If you just say, child, I just can't do it, you're going to remain in that emotional state because it's tied to all that stuff. And you'll continue to ruminate about the pain. People, I see that have emotional wounds. They talk about it every chance they get to whoever. They victimize themselves. They deflect, they project, they won't take accountability, because sometimes we become addicted to our pain when we're in those states of not forgiving. We try to use that unforgiveness as a pass to act that way. And in reality, we must forgive. We talked about it. The Bible declares it. If we're Christian believers, we have to. So research shows that after forgiveness, negative feelings decline, positive emotions take their place. Resolving anger and hurt and shame and fear generates these positive emotions. Because why? Like I said, with my mother, empathy was there, understanding was there, compassion was there. Given her state and her condition, my mom couldn't be there because my mom had a condition. My mom had a situation where she was an alcoholic, and those urges, just overtook her. And so we have to remember, and this is a saying of mine, and I really like it. So I'm going to give it to you. Remember, doing wrong things are easy. It takes no work to do the wrong thing. Doing wrong things are easy, but it's expensive. I'm going to say that one more time for those in the back who didn't hear me. Doing wrong things are easy, but it's expensive. What do I mean by that? The things that we do comes with a high price. So if we know that we're doing some damage, we don't just scave by. And it may look like it in the moment, but there's consequences. If we are doing wrong things, we can damage our relationships to no point of return. If we're doing the wrong things, if you know you're doing wrong and you know you're being ill-willed, and you know that your motivations aren't right, and you know that your intent is wicked, understand, doing the wrong things, it's easy, but it's expensive. And our souls cannot afford the consequences. So remember, here's my saying. It's mine. God gave it to me in the middle of the night. Doing the wrong things, they're easy, but they're expensive. And those things comes with a high price. Our souls cannot afford the consequences. Your soul can't afford it. You do some stuff out there and you break your soul, you fragment your soul by trying to do them, you have found yourself in a worse state. is worse than what it was before. And so I close with this. Y'all. And this is from Khalif Hassa. It says, I said Khalif. Excuse me. Cliff Hassa. Forgiveness let you love again. Once you forgive, your heart is full of love. You are stronger because you are stronger because you love yourself and love others, no matter the magnitude of their shortcomings or transgressions. You forgive because you love, and you love because you forgive. Now, that's some good stuff right there. So, let's go to our word bank, and we're going to wrap it up. Daniel 9:9. The Lord our God is merciful and forgiving, even when we have rebelled against him. This scripture reminds us of the message of forgiveness in the Bible, that God shows us mercy. Matthew 6:14. For if you forgive other people, Matthew 14. Matthew 6:14. It says, for if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will forgive you. It is important to remember that forgiveness keeps us in connection with God. Okay? We want God to forgive us. Last scripture, Psalms 32:1. Blessed is the one whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. Forgiveness covers. We thank the Lord for that. And so here's your root work. This is your challenge. Challenge yourself to go through the 4 stages of your negative thoughts or feelings, right? 1, express your experience and express your anger directly. Feel it, express it. 2, genuinely acknowledge. 3, come to terms with the acceptance of the loss without distortion of the perception or unrealistic fantasies. 4, make a conscious decision to forgive and move towards your future. And so those are the steps. When you start feeling crazy and wonky, do those things. If something has been said today that has inspired you to want to be better, to show up better, to want, that makes you want to heal, I want to know about it. I want you to write in at bebold@patriabrumfield.com. And if you want to be a part of this podcast during the segment Sipping Tea with Sister or Thirst Ship Thursdays, you can inquire by using the same email address, bebold@patriabrumfield.com. Okay, we're going to close out of here. Let us pray this prayer of salvation. Some of y'all may be saying, well, I want the God that loves me that way, that would forgive me of all my stuff. I want him to be my Lord as well. And you can. So here is the prayer. Just repeat after me. Dear Father, I acknowledge that I am a sinner in need of your grace. Please forgive me. I acknowledge my need for you, and today I call upon you in accordance of your word. Your word says that whosoever calls on your name shall be saved. I believe that you are the Son of God and that you died on the cross for me. I ask that you come into my heart and rule and govern as the Lord over my life. I declare that you are Jesus, the Son of God. And I make this prayer and this request in Jesus' name. Amen. If you prayed that prayer, I want to know about it. You can email me or contact me on any social media handles. Instagram, all things bold underscore. I know it's all things underscore bold on Instagram. All things bold on Facebook. You can email me at bebold@Patria Brumfield. If you're looking on YouTube, you see all the handles there. You can go to my website as well at www.beboldempowerment.com. I want to hear about all of that thing, all of the things, okay? And I ask that you get connected to a Bible believing church that offers tools and truths that will build you up spiritually, and connect with people that you know are living the life and doing the things, okay? Not just going to church and being somewhere, being another way at home, but actually living it out, okay? Someone you can trust. Well, that's it for tonight. I hope you have been inspired to dig about emotional health and emotions, because, honey, it is the truth, okay? I love the study of all of this. It's good stuff. And as always, be bold, be you, stand out, because you were built for this thing called boldness, honey. God bless you.
Be bold, you gotta be you. You gotta stand out. You were built for this. You gotta be bold, you gotta be you.